Hare Krishna, everyone. This is acyuta-bhava, and today I'm taking another question in my Bhakti Q&A series. Um, I thought this was a really good one. The question was generally, how do you integrate the Hindu religion and the presence of a guru in your life, being from the West? What a good question. And I'm going to say a bunch of things because there's kind of two parts of the question. There's one, which is how do you integrate the Hindu religion into your life as a Westerner? And also, how do you integrate having a guru into your life? Like, how has it changed your life? What is it like having a guru? What does it entail? Okay, so obviously, the idea of a guru is just the idea of a spiritual teacher that you serve, meaning that you help them with things that they're doing. There's lots of different ways to serve, actively serve a guru. And there's ways that you can serve a guru in person and not in person and stuff like that. So a big component of having a guru is just serving a guru in everyday life. But the I'm going to start with the question about a guru, obviously. So having a guru in it really, though, it just means that you have a spiritual teacher. And in the Bhakti tradition, there are numerous different kinds of gurus. So, for example, there is, and I'm not going to give you the name, there's sort of technical names. There's a guru who's kind of like an introductory guru. An introductory guru may not be formal in any sense of, the word that guru might imply. It's literally someone who introduces you to the path of bhakti. So whoever's given you directions at the gas station of life saying, hey, check out bhakti. And that person, something about their enthusiasm, something about their charisma, something about, just being in the right place at the right time. And for whatever reason, something clicked. Sometimes that person will be understood as like an introductory guru. For example, my introductory guru's name is Hari. And Hari was a member of our yoga teacher training staff at our yoga studio in Washington, D.C. area. And he taught yoga philosophy. And for many years, he was there. And I didn't know that he was, I didn't really know much about his lineage or bhakti yoga. And then I ended up studying with him in a private yoga apprenticeship because he wrote a book about bhakti yoga that really captured my attention. You should check it out. It's called In Search of the Highest Truth by Hari Kirtana Das. So that book got me excited. And then I decided to study with him. And then he just introduced me to bhakti. He opened the door, you could say. So, and still to this day, I talk to him and follow his content and refer people to him. And he will always be sort of my introductory guru. He's not the guru that I ended up getting initiated by. He's not someone that I study with like regularly now, but he was in the beginning the person who turned me on, tuned me in, that kind of stuff. So there's introductory gurus. There is a way in which in Bhakti it is generally encouraged that any environment we're in where there are people talking about God from the standpoint of loving God, serving God, seeing God in all beings, loving your neighbor as you love yourself, seeing God in yourself and your neighbor. Any of these teachings imply to us that, if we're in an environment where these subjects are being discussed and where people are, we're seeing people with the divine in them, or people are meeting with some intention to discuss the divine, then there is our guru. In other words, we take an attitude that anyone at any time is here to teach us. If we, kind of have eyes to see and ears to hear, as Jesus often liked to say. So, the world is a guru. There's chapters in the Bhagavatam, our the Bhagavat Purana, that talk about, there's a famous story about a sage who explains how he became enlightened about different topics by virtue of watching different animals. And he says this was my guru, this was my teacher. I learned, I learned from the birds or the bees to be like this, or I learned from the snake to be like this, and so forth. So if we're listening, and if we are in Krishna consciousness, if we're actively pursuing Krishna in all things, then there's a way in which the guru, Krishna himself, comes into all things. In bhakti, we say that Balaram, who's like an associate of Krishna, they're like brother buddies, and he is kind of like the first guru. And so there's always a way in which God expands himself in terms of, into the form of teachers. And that doesn't mean that the teacher literally is God in the case of our human gurus, but it means that they have, Krishna will have the power to speak through them. And if we have the right attitude and approach to life, then anything can become, we can hear Krishna talking to us. And in that sense, there's a way in which you see a guru in everyone and everything. So introductory gurus, the guru in everything. There's also something called a shiksha guru. A shiksha guru is someone who might specifically, maybe they're not your initiating guru, but maybe that they are someone who is teaching you something about bhakti yoga specifically, like from the Shastras, from the scriptures, from the Gita. Maybe they're helping you understand some of the philosophy. So instructing gurus, usually that's a little bit more formal, where you are formally approaching someone and they're helping you as a mentor. And that might be a regular mentor who's still not necessarily your initiating guru. Now, your initiating guru is going to be the one who will provide shiksha, they'll provide instruction, but also they're the one who's literally going to initiate you. It's kind of it's like almost like there's different, sort of ceremonial procedures, but it's like a more formal. You get your name, you get your beads, you get your Tulsi neck beads, you get your chanting, your japa beads. So there's, and that, it's different. It's been different throughout time, the way that gurus have been thought about, and the role of the guru and how it's shifted as bhakti came to the modern West. But in our tradition, there's many gurus, and the guru becomes a guru, just by virtue of having realized the scriptures and being really knowledgeable in them, and having realized their conclusions through life practice and dedication, and sort of purifying themselves in that respect. And they'll become a guru because people just start approaching them saying, will you be my guru? And enough do, and in time, that's how it happens. But in the modern West, when things the tradition had to develop an institutional side because of all the temples and laws and so on and so forth. And so there's more of an institutional side. And at least in the organization that I participate in, the role of guru and how guru is assigned or determined, it's a bit like there was in the Methodist Church, there was something called the Board of Ordained Ministries, and they would sit and talk with people, as candidates for the ministry, and basically vet people who are ready to go and be ministers. Is it perfect? No, but there's a process in place that help, people who have been dedicated for many years to the path, who have reached a level of renunciation on a certain level. Not that the path is necessarily about renunciation, but they've reached like enough of a level of renunciation. They have followers. They know the Shastras. They have good referrals from people testifying to their lifestyle and their adherence. They themselves have followed their own guru faithfully, and then they might be eligible to take on initiating students. So that's typically how it works. And those gurus are going to be, like people that you spend. I mean, it's different for everyone. Sometimes you have an initiating guru, and a shiksha guru becomes super, super important to you personally. So it's not like there's hard, fast rules, but, like an initiating guru is someone, like in my case, someone whose teachings, whose kata, when they talk about Krishna, you listen and you pay close attention. You tune into their lectures, you re-listen to their lectures, you go to them with the deepest questions that you have about the philosophy, about your life, about bhakti. You ask them for guidance when making major important life decisions that you might need help with. And you also serve them. And you should serve all people and all of your gurus too, but you serve them, maybe more specifically, like I've helped my guru with stuff for his website. I make sure that I donate to my guru's ministry because this is what my guru does for full time. So a lot of times it's like a little bit like a Patreon, you help make sure that your guru can, or, pay rent somewhere, have a mortgage, and, uh, persist in the material world. Like, so sometimes people, it's like in the church, how are ministers supported in their jobs from the, offering of the people in the church. That's part of where their salary comes from. So I grew up with that. My dad was a pastor. So anyway, so you might serve your guru by donating something to their ministry. And that's part of how they make their living. But also lots of people helping them with technical stuff, or anything. Lots of gurus are going to be leaders at their local temples. Their disciples may be people who are simply like volunteers. Just tell me what to do and I'll help with whatever it is you're doing, because you kind of want to be part of the team, helping support them as teachers and as people who are actively trying to share Krishna consciousness with others. So you could serve a guru, you listen to your guru, very regularly listen to most gurus are going to speak and give talks very regularly. They're going to have Krishna Katha, talk about Krishna. So you listen to that really regularly. But not just, and there's multiple gurus. It kind of takes a village. So, for me, I have, let's see, I would say that I have 4, maybe 5 different mentors people that I consider mentors, who are older than me, who have been in the tradition a very long time, who I can speak to regularly whenever, I can pretty much ask anytime. But I tune in to seek the guidance of my own guru, my initiating guru, probably the most. So at any rate, that's a little bit about gurus. How does it make a daily impact on my life? Like I said, it's like, if I have time that I'm serving your guru can mean that you bring flowers to a picture of your guru. It's on your altar, a few times a week. Every day you offer water, candle, incense, to a picture of your guru on the altar. This is not because you're worshiping the human being. The guru is like a human representative of Krishna. So you realize like there's a human dimension to them, but that's not what I'm worshiping. When I serve them on my altar, I'm not worshiping like, oh, this amazing person. Gurus are amazing people, but the idea is that when you venerate, worship, adore, serve your guru, it's kind of like, let's just put it this way. Have you ever had a home altar with sacred items on them? If you care for those items, they become something more than just material. They become something more than just a stone statue of, a goddess or something. Similarly, you could pick a bunch of plants, you could, kind of make them into medicine. What really makes them into medicine, according to my wife, the herbalist, is how you make them and how you relate to them as as sacred medicines. So similarly, like worship of a guru, serving your guru every day is to care for that space that they play in your life. This is my teacher. This is my guide. Krishna is going to speak through this person because that's a bond that the guru has made between Krishna and their disciples, and the disciple has made between Krishna themselves and their guru. So it's like every day taking just a moment to thank, love, respect, adore, give something to your guru on your altar, not even necessarily talking to them, is really nice, because it starts cleaning out the channel so that when the next time they give a talk, it's like, it feels like it's just for you. And how does that happen? How does that feeling happen? Because you're opening your heart to them more and more. And then Krishna can use them to speak to you more personally. So it's like, the guru is like a representative, and we serve the representative by caring for them, by just saying thank you for them every day, by praying for them, by putting some, flowers on the altar next to their picture. For saying thank you to Krishna for sending us teachers who are great examples. We do it like that, just a gratitude. And then when we polish that part of our lives every day and say thank you for it, then its ability to speak grows. Doesn't mean gurus are not human or that they won't ever fall down, because it happens. But I've been really fortunate to have for myself all of my different gurus, really stable, steady, amazing examples of bhakti, uh, which gives me something to shoot for. So yeah. So that's how I've integrated it into my everyday life. Sometimes they're better than others. Like sometimes I'm more on it than others. But having a guru does not mean that I lose my autonomy, agency, ability to think for myself. It's just, that's my focal point. That's my channel. It's like if you have a favorite podcast that you listen to about the news, it's like, that's where I get my information from, so similar with a guru, it's like, that's where I'm getting my spiritual guidance from, and you develop a bond with it. And then there's Vyasa Puja, which is like, a special day where all the disciples of a guru will typically get together and like, just celebrate that person, and it's their birthday, and kind of, it's a fun day. It's super fun. And my guru's super down to earth, really easy to talk to, has a lot of disciples. So I don't get to talk to him like all the time, but I listen to his teachings all the time. And if I'm, in a pinch, he'll definitely take the time, and, amazing. So his name is Vaisheshika Dasa. You can take a look at his website, fanthespark.com, or it might be .org. You can check him out there. He's on Facebook too, and you can find ISKCON of Silicon Valley is the place to look for on YouTube. Anyway, ISKCON is ISCKON. Sorry. In terms of integrating Hindu religion in my everyday life, it doesn't feel like Hindu religion to me. Like there's no, it's not like there's not, I mean, there are cultural elements, of course, that are very different, like the dress or the appearance of the like Krishna, the way that Krishna looks in deity form or in paintings and stuff like that. And, there's saris, there's Indian food, there's elements of Indian culture, but people from all over the world practice bhakti, and the lineage holders of bhakti specifically were interested in bringing bhakti to people outside of the, Indian ethnic cultural background. So, it doesn't feel like anything Hindu to me at all. And that's not how most Indian body, we call Indian bodied or American bodied or whatever bodied, because we're all spirit souls just in a body. But so Indian bodied devotees versus American bodied devotees, no one cares so much about those things in bhakti. Like, it's like, yeah, if you love God, then that's bhakti. The rest is not important. We've lived innumerable lifetimes in all sorts of different skin colors, gender, sexual orientations, creeds, castes, races, places, planets, too numerous to count. So I just have never really thought about it much. And I've really been charmed by Indian culture, mythology, things like that. Like, and I've always felt deeply welcomed and not feeling like an outsider in any cultural sense. And sometimes it's a little inevitable that you will, but I mean, I just, you get over it pretty quickly once you realize these are my Indian brothers and sisters are very warm, welcome, will answer any question I have and want me to learn and want me to be there. So it's just never felt like a big deal to me. Maybe it would for some other people though. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. A little longer video today, but it's big questions. So I wanted to take some time to explain where I'm coming from. Yeah, I mean, if you listen to this channel regularly, just like when I was getting into bhakti, I had a number of different streams of bhakti teachings that were coming into my life. Not me personally, I'm not a guru, but even things like that are like having a guru, in the sense that you have something that you're tuning into every day that's kind of helping you along. And that's the basic idea behind what a guru is supposed to do. And we're all called by the Shastras to be that way, that we are called, that when you start taking these practices into your life, especially chanting every day, that you grow in your faith and love of God. And your natural responsibility and service is to teach other people about it, because it's liberating, it's healing. So it's like, well, spread it. It's free, spread it. So when you do that, you're acting as a guru. So, all right. Anyway, that's what I've got for today. I hope it was interesting. Hare Krishna.